Then we hit the flavor zone, the distortion. This is where you decide how angry you want your guitar to sound before the amp even gets involved.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
You done? What? I'm warming up.
They love this stuff. You love this stuff.
People want to know the settings. I'm setting the vibe. Not hear you go on a spiritual journey playing the same chords and same notes every guitarist has been recycling since the invention of electricity. You're setting off the part of their brain that goes, oh great, here's another guy trying to impress strangers on the internet with a riff he wrote in 2014. So no intro? Look, they clicked this video because it says distortion block, not watch me emotionally validate myself through pentatonic patterns. We're here to teach tone, not audition for a band that doesn't exist. Fine, but I'm playing later. Good. That's when it actually matters. Stop that. All right, roll the logo. Remember, friends don't let friends chase tone based off of childhood memories. So this is the entire preset from input to output. Every block here has a job. And if it doesn't do that job cleanly, it doesn't get to stay. Before we talk about distortion blocks, we need to talk about headroom. If you don't have headroom, your distortion isn't shaping tone. It's drowning it. Yeah. Like when it's my time to solo, but the drummer thinks it's his time to shine. Here's the part people skip. Line 6 developed every processor that they've ever made, from the old pod all the way to the new Helix Stadium, to run with the big fat master volume knob turned all the way up. All the way up? Like my neighbors are Googling noise ordinance up? Yup. That's how you get the cleanest signal, the lowest noise, and the most headroom. You build your preset at that level. If you do it correctly, you'll hit around -6 decibels at the console without the sound engineer touching anything. So turn the big knob up, build your preset, hit -6 on the front of house. Congratulations, you are officially not the problem. Here's where things fall apart. If you build your preset with the master volume turned down, and then you start adding block after block, it might sound fine at bedroom level, but the moment you start adding power to it and turn the Helix up, it all collapses. Just like that. Instant death. Goldfish in a microwave. Exactly. Every block you add eats headroom. Every block adds noise. Every block changes gain staging. If you build all of that at low volume, the preset falls apart the moment you give it real power. So if your tone falls apart when you turn up, it's not because line 6 is for bedroom players. It's because you built your preset like a hoarder stuffs a garage. Pretty much. If you don't need a block, delete it. If it doesn't have a job, delete it. Remember, clean lanes, clear gain staging, and headroom first. You remember that one comment about how Helix is a scam and the amps are terrible? And he was almost deceived until some YouTuber rescued him. I remember that one. I had to scroll through that like I was reading a thriller novel. People get frustrated when their presets fall apart. If you build at low volume, overload the DSP, and skip gain staging, the preset will collapse. It doesn't mean that the processor is bad. It means the preset wasn't built with intention. So if my tone collapses, there's no way I did anything wrong. Clearly, the modeler betrayed me. And only a YouTuber with dramatic lighting can save me now. Was that necessary? Absolutely. I'm doing a public service. So the next bite of this enchilada is the flavor zone. This is where we decide how spicy this enchilada is going to be before the amp even wakes up. Are we going banana pepper or Carolina Reaper? The first pedal is straight boost, and it lives in the dry channel on purpose. This lane is pure guitar tone. No time-based effects, no modulation, nothing washing it out. Just a raw signal getting a clean shove forward. It hits the amp harder without changing the EQ and adds punch and immediacy to your pick attack. It'll keep the left channel honest and sets the bass line feel for the entire preset. This is pure spice. No flavoring, just a touch of heat. Oh yeah. This is the good stuff right here. This is my amp suddenly costs $3 grand. Listen to that. That sounds expensive. Are you done? Absolutely not. This pedal makes me feel like I know what I'm doing. Do you even know where the pedal gets its lineage from? Yeah. The land of sounds good, don't question it. Duh. It comes from the analog man Prince of Tone, which is half the size of a King of Tone, which is a refined Marshall blues breaker circuit. So it's royalty? I'm playing royal overdrive? I knew it felt fancy. Right. And Line 6 modeled the entire behavior. Boost mode, overdrive mode, and distortion mode. How it reacts to pick attack, how it pushes an amp without turning it into mud. So it's not more gain, it's a make your amp behave like it had a good childhood button? Exactly. This is a front end enhancer. It changes how your amp breaks up, not just how loud it is. Hey kiddos! This is the pedal that you use when you want your amp to stop acting like it's cheap. The Heir Apparent has 3 modes: boost, overdrive, and distortion. Each one changes how your amp breaks up. Ah yes, the sacred tri-path of tonal enlightenment. Boost mode is the cleanest. It pushes the front of your amp without adding too much grit. Overdrive mode adds breakup and mid character. And distortion is the most saturated. Boost mode. I can smell the headroom. Overdrive mode, that's when I read an article on blues phrasing and now I wear hats indoors. In distortion mode, that's when I want to feel like my amp is writing in its diary about me. Boost does not mean louder. Boost means push the amp differently. You're changing the behavior of the preamp, not the volume of the preset. If I turn this on and my tone collapses, that's not the pedal's fault. That's building a disaster and acting like the model betrayed me? Exactly. Boost is about gain staging. Here's the amp by itself. Now here's the same riff with boost mode on. Ooh, that's spicy. Listen to the front end tighten. The mids lift. The breakup becomes more controlled. That's like giving the amp a pep talk before the gig. Now overdrive mode. Same riff. Ooh. That's the suddenly I believe in myself mode. Now distortion mode. Ooh, that's the my amp had a good childhood and went to therapy. Then both the left and right channel get a Minotaur. Basically the Line 6 Helix Klon clone. All right, now let's talk about where this pedal comes from. Ah yes, the Minotaur, the Klon clone. The pedal that people treat like it was carved from the bones of ancient tone gods. The Minotaur is Line 6's model of the Klon Centaur. Hand-built in the 90s, ridiculously expensive now. Known for clean boost, subtle mid-push, and transparent breakup. Yeah, the pedal that cost more than my first car. The pedal people list for 12 grand because it has the right horse on it. The Klon was designed to be a clean boost. Tighten the low end, adds clarity, pushes the amp without mud, adds mid character, and keeps dynamics intact. You mean it's the one I want to sound better, but I don't want anyone to know I'm using a pedal? Line 6 modeled both, the clean path and the dirty path, to blend together as you turn the gain knob. Which is why if you turn the gain knob up past noon, the Klon community will appear in your chat and write a dissertation about signal purity. Here's how we're using it. Gain's at 5.3, tone's at 5.2, and level is at 6 flat. In other words, it's the I'm not trying too hard, but I definitely practiced setting. Level is the engine. That's what pushes the amp. Exactly. If you turn the gain up and the level down, you're not boosting, you're doing Klon cosplay. So here's the amp by itself. Now here it is with the Minotaurs. That's the my amp stops slouching. This is why we run the Minotaurs as a boost. Not for distortion, for clarity, tightness, and amp behavior. Ooh. Posture corrected. On the right side, the Minotaur is the second boost. The heir apparent hits the amp first, then the Minotaur. Confidence restored. The heir apparent tightens the low end, adds clarity, and makes the Minotaur break up cleaner. It reacts differently based on the signal that you feed it. Loose signal equals messy breakup. Tight signal equals articulate breakup. Yeah, man. This is the pedal you use when you want your amp to stop being a wet noodle. And because you run a Minotaur on the left channel too, both sides stay balanced. Ah, yes. The double tap. 1-2 punch. To kick the amp so hard, it files a noise complaint. We're gonna demo the Minotaur by itself, heir apparent into the Minotaur, and then both channels together. Listen how the amp reacts in each case. Ah, yes. This is where the amp learns who it really is. Polite boost. Aggressive boost. Kick the amp so hard, it files a noise complaint. Alright, that's enough. This is the flavored spice, the seasoning that makes the amp react like it's supposed to. So when you add the dry lane boost with the dual channel Minotaurs, the amp gets a signal that's tighter, more focused, harmonically richer, and way more predictable across all these different rooms. Turn this whole section off and the amp still sounds good. Turn this whole section back on and suddenly the amp feels wide awake. Here's the real point. Boost, gain staging, heir apparent, Minotaur, left channel, right channel. None of this is mystical. They're tools. Yeah, you don't need a $12,000 pedal blessed by a guy in a flannel apron to understand your tone. You don't need to know tone wood lore. You don't need to prove you're worthy. You don't need to feel judged for not knowing solder types from the 1990s. Yeah, exactly. We're not doing the whole secret handshake thing here. Nobody cares. Play your guitar. Everything we covered is just tools. Tools you can use. Tools you can understand. Tools that line 6 placed in here on purpose. Because here everybody's invited. Beginners, pros, tone chasers, tone destroyers, people who know what a Klon is, and people who think a Klon is a Pokemon. We're not here to flex. We're not here to gatekeep. We're not here to pretend tone is some secret society with a dress code. You mean no flannel shirts, skinny jeans, and logger boots that have never seen the woods? We're here to make this fun, to make it clear, to make it make sense. No cork sniffing, no boutique snobbery, no circle of no. So if you learned something, great. If you laughed, even better. And if you started to feel like you actually understand how this stuff works, welcome. You're one of us now. Real tone, real tools. All right, I think Past Thatch has something to say. All right, well, I'm Thatch, this is the Helix, and this has been my TED Talk on emotional tone stability for guitarists. Roll the logo, I'm getting coffee.